Welcome back to Coffee and Tea with CarrieVee. I'm CarrieVee, your biggest fan, the person who will believe in you when you don't believe in yourself. And even when you begin believing in yourself, I'm still going to believe in you. Coffee and Tea with CarrieVee is all things leadership, communication, confidence, clarity. It is all things life. And sometimes we have guests on here, and sometimes it's just me. Today, you get just me. And we're going to talk about planes, trains, automobiles, buses. We're going to talk about all the things. Do you remember the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? I don't remember details of the movie, but I remember that it's a very funny movie. Well, I kind of had my own little experience with planes, trains, and automobiles, add buses, when I went to the Maxwell Leadership Conference last week. So I planned a flight plan on AmericanAirlines.com. And it had 2 layovers, which I'm fine with. I really don't mind layovers. In fact, I booked them on purpose because I like to get off the plane. I like to stretch my legs. I especially love the layovers if there's about a 15 or 20-minute walk between terminals. If I don't have that, I will create a 15 to 20-minute walk. Straight flights drive me nuts because you can't get up and stretch. Now, I realize that if I flew from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, I'm in upstate New York. So if I went to a major airport, Philly, and drove straight through, it would be a 2.5 hour flight, I think, from Philly to Orlando, something like that. It's a quick flight, but I still like layovers. I also like to go to the Admirals Club where you get to go in and sit in comfy seats, and they always have really good fruit and salads. So I like to visit the Admirals Clubs too. It's just the way I like to travel. I know some of you are going, she is crazy. We don't do layovers. I love the layovers. So I booked this flight with 2 layovers. It went from Wilkes-Barre. So Wilkes-Barre is about an hour and 15 minutes from me. I don't live near any big airports. So it's a little bit of a drive to get to any airport. Wilkes-Barre Airport, AVP, is a small little airport. I think there's 7 gates. I think there's 7 gates in the whole place. It's a tiny little place. So it's about an hour and 15-minute drive to get to Wilkes-Barre. And then from there, I was going to Philadelphia, Philadelphia to Charlotte, Charlotte to Orlando, landing at about 6:30 at night. I then had a rental car that I got from a rental place that was a little bit off site. The shuttle would pick you up and take you to the place where you got your rental car. And then it's about another 30 or 35 minutes to the resort where I was staying. So it was a long travel day. And I booked this entire flight on AmericanAirlines.com, this first leg from Wilkes-Barre to Philly, Philly to Charlotte, Charlotte to Orlando. So yeah, we've got the automobile and we've got the plane, but there's really no buses, but where do the, there's no trains, but where do the buses come in? So here's what happened. I got to Wilkes-Barre and put my luggage in, where, by the way, I was 5 pounds over. So I had to open my suitcase up. I had a lot of user-generated content things in my suitcase, one of them being adult underwear, which fell out of my suitcase when I opened it. It was funny and mortifying and all the things, but there was all my stuff in the airport while I was pulling out 5 pounds of stuff, putting it in my carry-on and shutting up my suitcase so that I could get on the plane. And then they told me, you're going to gate 2. And I was like, gate 2? I don't even know where gate 2 is. I've never seen gate 2. So I asked, well, where do I get gate 2? And they told me, you'll have to go downstairs to get gate 2. You have to go through security, go through TSA pre-check, or go through the TSA line. I'm TSA pre-check, thankfully. But you have to go through TSA and then go downstairs. You have to go upstairs to get to TSA and then go back downstairs to get to gate 2. So my thought was, all right, we're going to walk out on the tarmac and climb on, walk that little ladder thing up to the plane, which I've done in Philly plenty of times to get back to Wilkes-Barre because they're small commuter jets. It just didn't even cross my mind to think it would be anything but a commuter plane to get to Philadelphia. So I waited for us to board, and I didn't have to wait long. I didn't get to the airport in a lot of extra time because it's a small airport. You get right through pre-check. So I went downstairs and waited to get on board the commuter plane to Philadelphia. And they tagged everybody's carry-ons because there's no room on a commuter to put your carry-ons, and they always put them under the plane. So they tagged them. And then we went out, and there's this big, huge bus, like a tour bus that says American Airlines on the side. And me, I'm still thinking this. You probably have all figured it out. But in my mind, I'm thinking, wow, that's a really nice bus they're putting us on to take us to the airplane, which really didn't make any sense because again, this is a small airport. Why are we not just walking to the plane? So they get everybody on and they're saying, make sure you sit in the seat that you reserved. And I thought, I didn't reserve a seat. So I sat down, I looked at my ticket for my flight, and I sat in that seat. And then the driver came on and he said, "You're all aware that I am driving you to Philadelphia, correct?" And I think that my mouth must have dropped open. I think somebody must have come over and shut my jaw. I just stared at him. Everybody on the bus apparently knew that the first leg of the flight was a bus, a nice bus, had its own Wi-Fi. It wasn't a bad bus, but it was a bus. And we were taking a 2.5 hour ride to Philadelphia to get to the next plane. Now I had looked and I knew it was a 2.5 hour flight to Philly, which didn't make sense to me when I looked at it because I was like, man, you can drive to Philly in 2.5 hours. I can't believe the flight takes that long. But again, what do I know about flights? I thought maybe it was a very slow plane or we were going to have to wait to taxi in and out. I had no idea why it was a 2.5 hour flight, but it said 2.5 hour flight. So I went with it. You've all figured it out. We're driving to Philadelphia. And I was the only one on that bus, apparently, who really didn't know that we were not flying to Philly. And I just sat there in stunned silence, probably for half the ride. I could not believe that this flight I booked on AmericanAirlines.com was actually a bus. So I did take my phone and I pulled up American Airlines and I hit my flight plan. And when it came to that first leg of the flight from Wilkes-Barre to Philadelphia, I hit on the drop down for type of airline or type of aircraft. I hit the down arrow and it said in all capital letters, bus, a real live bus. I don't think if I'd even looked at that before I was on that bus, that I would have realized. I would have thought Airbus or something like that, but not a bus. It was a bus like you take to Atlantic City was a bus. So we got to Philly, we got into traffic, and we got there in time for me to sprint from the F gate. So when you get there, they don't just like drop you off at the front. We didn't have to go through security again. They came out, they did all kinds of stuff, looked underneath the bus, did all kinds of stuff, and then they let us in where the actual airplanes are, and they locked that gate behind us. So when we got off, we were in the airport, like as if we'd already gone through security. We were at F gate. I needed to get to B terminal. It's about a 15-minute walk. And I walked over there in time to get to my flight, just in time to board the flight for Charlotte. And then in Charlotte, we got to Charlotte late. So I had about 10 minutes. I went to the Admirals Club, used the bathroom, grabbed an orange and a banana and hiked down to my gate to get on my flight to Orlando. When I got to Orlando, I then had to wait for a shuttle to go to Ace Car Rental. Highly recommend, by the way. Highly recommend, at least the one in Orlando. They were fabulous, absolutely fabulous. Got to Ace. It was a very quick procedure to get my car, but I didn't know that to pay the tolls, at least in that part of Florida, you have to have an automatic toll reader. They don't take credit cards. They don't take cash. They don't do, maybe they do pay by plate, but not for a rental car. So I looked at the guy behind the counter and he said, well, you'll have to buy a toll pass to go through tolls. It's about, I think it was $35 a day. And I was just kind of staring at him. Now remember, by this time, I've been traveling all day long. I've been traveling all day. By the time I got to the car rental place, it was pushing 7:30, 7:45, and I was exhausted. We landed late in Orlando. Then you wait for the shuttle. You get to the place. I was just tired. And he said, look, just take your GPS and take off tolls, put avoid tolls. It'll take you about 47 minutes to get to your resort, but you don't have to worry about tolls the whole time because why buy a toll package when you're not going to be driving every day? I went there for a leadership conference. I was literally driving to the resort to get up every day and go to where the conference was being held and back. I wasn't driving around. I didn't need a toll package. So that's what I did, which took me longer because I had to go smaller roads, back roads, avoiding big highways that would have been faster, but I didn't want to buy the toll package. It was just a whole thing. By the time I got to the resort, it was after 9 o'clock at night. I was hungry. I was tired. I dragged all my luggage in and then walked down to the gift shop. And I was in room 7656. That doesn't tell you anything, but let me tell you, it's a hike from you had to go into the parking building and then walk to the elevator. I was staying in the Animal Kingdom Lodge, so the elevator was called Pumbaa, the Pumbaa elevator. I took Pumbaa elevator up a floor, and then it was about okay, so it's not like forever. It's not a mile, but it was about 1,000 steps to get to my room door. I dropped my luggage off, and then I hiked the 1,000 steps back to the gift shop so that I could buy something to eat. I bought a salad and stuff, hiked back to my room and sat down with a salad. And then I just started laughing. I'm looking at my luggage, which still needed to be unpacked. I needed to get ready for this leadership conference. And I was laughing so hard, just thinking about the entire ridiculousness of the day that I booked a flight, but I got on a bus. I got there. I was in Orlando, but it was not the path I considered. It wasn't the path I thought I had. Nothing that day really turned out like I thought it was going to. But I was at my destination. And I started thinking of the lessons I could learn from this whole thing. And I pulled out 3. Number 1, the journey is never exactly how you envision it. Very often it is bumpy and things happen that you didn't expect. I also learned, number 2, that setbacks in your journey are not failures. They are action steps moving you forward. Every single thing that doesn't go right is just a way of putting you on another path that takes you forward. And the third thing is your attitude. Your attitude determines how those bumps in your path of life work out. Your attitude, did you hear me? Your attitude determines how they work out. Are you filled with joy? Are you looking at it as, well, things happen. What is my solution? Or are you sitting in a pile sobbing and complaining? I could have been on the phone complaining to American Airlines my entire bus ride down to Philadelphia because it wasn't in big letters. It was nowhere. I would have seen it if it said, "Hey, by the way, this is a bus ride." It wasn't there. I mean, I'm not going to say that. It probably was there and I missed it, but I could have been really angry on the phone. And instead, I just enjoyed the bus ride. I just thought, well, you know what? I have a seat here. There's no one next to me. I am just going to enjoy this bus ride. I slept a little bit. I read a little bit. I listened to a book. I just enjoyed myself. I have driven to Philadelphia, to the Philadelphia airport so many times. I didn't have to fight the traffic. I didn't have to do anything but sit there and let the driver take me there. You have to find the positive aspects. Everything in your life is not going to go like you plan. There are bumps along the road, number 1. Number 2, those bumps are not failures. They are just another way to push you forward. And number 3, your attitude is what determines how these things work out. They all work together. I wasn't going to let the fact that part of my flight, in quotes, was a bus pull me down. I could have changed it going back. I guess I could have spent time on the website trying to change that last leg of my flight or change the entire return trip so that I didn't have that bus back from Philly to Wilkes-Barre. But you know what? I just decided it was a fun journey. I'm going to take the same one home in reverse and it will be fine. It will make a great story. It's going to make a great presentation, which is what I am working on, to expand these lessons because they were very real to me. Very real to me. I just laughed. Every time I still think about it, it brings a smile to my face. Like, how did I not know that I was getting on a bus, not a plane, for the first part of my journey to Orlando? The point is, I got there. The point is, I was there for an incredible leadership conference with the Maxwell leadership team, and it was better than I anticipated. So much better. I got there. That's where my focus was. And I was there to learn, and I was going to learn, and I was not going to waste 1 minute of my life complaining that my airplane was actually a bus. Everything works out the way that it works out when you put your attitude in the right place. Are you choosing joy and laughter, or are you choosing to complain and see the bad side of everything? True empowerment means that you are walking in an amazing attitude. It doesn't mean everything's always going okay. It means that you know that you will land on your feet and you will be okay. That is true empowerment. It is taking charge of the situation no matter what it is. It's taking responsibility. I'll take responsibility for it. I'm pretty sure that it must have said somewhere that it's a bus. I'll just say yes, it did. I didn't see it. It was definitely on the drop down once I hit the drop down that the type of aircraft was a bus. It's not going to change anything to complain. But you know what will change things? Your attitude moving forward. That's what will change things. That's empowerment. It's these things and others that we're talking about when we go into Radical Empowerment Live this October. It's in Endicott, New York. Radical Empowerment Live is a 2-day conference with absolutely fabulous speakers that you will hear more about as we move forward. It is open for enrollment. We are still on early bird enrollment, so you can still get those early bird prices. We are taking a limited number of VIP spots, which are filling up. So if you want a VIP ticket, I would jump on that. You can click the link in the show notes to get your ticket to this event. You are going to hear about empowerment from so many different angles, from self-care, from taking care of your health, from your mindset, from physical things that you do to completely build yourself, from letting go of lies that we have been told. As women, we have been told so many lies. And I have one speaker that is focusing all on that. We are not going to be held back or told that we need to be quiet and sit in a corner, or that there is only one way to plan your future. All of those things we are going to dispel. This is an empowerment conference like you have never been to before. I cannot wait to see you in that room. Click your link, get your ticket, and then send me a message and tell me, I'm in. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to be in this group of empowered women moving forward, walking in that power that is yours. Your journal prompt today is, what attitude am I carrying in my life? What attitude am I carrying in my life? And then get your ticket to Radical Empowerment Live so that your attitude will grow even more in a positive way. Your life will grow in a positive way. So you got your journal prompt and you've got your assignment to get enrolled for Radical Empowerment Live. I cannot wait to see you here again. I am your biggest fan. I love you, and I can't wait to see you at this event, meet you in person. Come up and tell me, I heard about this on your podcast, and I can't wait. I can't wait to be a part of this event and hear these speakers. It's going to be an incredible, incredible event. 1 day, 2 days, whether you come for the whole thing or you come on Saturday only. Oh, and the swag bags, let me tell you, the swag bags are like nothing you've ever seen. I promise you. All right, get enrolled, do your journal prompt. I'll hear from you soon. I love you. I'm your biggest fan. Until next time, see you soon.